Hey everyone, Eitan here. It is episode 9 of Talk to Eitan, and we have Dave Bayuk. I hope I said that correctly. I knew
it. Davey will work.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, how are we doing, Dave?
Excellent. You know, another beautiful day that the Most High has made. I enjoy it.
How's your day today? What have you been up to?
You know what? Today was interesting. One of the things, my wife and I actually raised purebred Maine Coon cats. And today was the day that one that had never delivered before decided to have kittens. And so I literally had to go in there and deliver 2 kittens, the first 2. And I figured, oh man, she's not getting it whatsoever. Like I literally had to sever the umbilical cord, help pull them out, the whole shebang. And even though the second one, I was even holding the umbilical cord in front of her face, she was licking it and not biting it to sever it, right? So again, you know, after 5 minutes of this, finally I cut it and pinched it off, made sure that no blood was going to be lost. And anyways, third one came along, and then she finally got with the program, delivered everything. So my hands are now clean, and yeah, she's got 4 out now. So
how many animals or cats do you have? Or
it's over 20.
Oh wow, okay, that's pretty major.
Yeah, it's a very well. My wife is one of the top breeders in North America. She actually she came from Poland at 20 years old. And so she has no problem going through Europe and conversing with anyone down there. So the line that she does have, or we have, is European line.
Okay, nice. Okay.
Yeah, strong stock.
So also, I mean, so, you know, tell us more about, firstly, where are you from? Like, where are you based at the moment? And yeah, let's go from there. Where are you based at the moment? Yeah.
Currently live in one of the 7 natural wonders of the world, Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. And beautiful thing, we have so many tourists here during the summer. Wintertime, well, you could fire a cannon off down there. It's not too many people because it's so cold, right?
Yeah.
And especially being right by the falls. Yeah, it's not the most pleasant place in the wintertime, but still beautiful because of all the snow and the ice. And sometimes the falls actually does freeze right up. And that's it, suspended animation. Quite the unique sight. It's only happened a few times in history. Last year it did though. And still amazing just to go walking down there anytime.
What does it need? What does it need to get to that cold to freeze up the Niagara Falls?
You know, I think it has a lot to do with the wind itself too. But you know, temperature has to drop obviously. And where I live is actually one of the fruit belts in the world. So one of the things that's famous for, I don't know if you've ever tried ice wine. No. It's one of the most expensive wine in the world, $250 for a small bottle.
Interesting.
And the thing is, you cannot harvest your grapes in the fall. You have to leave them on the vine. They have to stay on the vine till the middle of winter, and they have to have 3 consecutive days at -10 or less. Then something happens to the grapes that then you pick them after those 3 days of the consecutive freezing temperatures. And something has happened to the grape that's changed their constitution and can only be made then. And it is then the most expensive wine in the world.
Do you own some?
My dad did.
Okay.
I'm not so into that. You know what? I'm for some reason, I don't care for alcohol at all. You know, I might have, you know, a wine occasionally, but no, you know, it's certainly not even be once a week. But
yeah, I mean, water is always better, you know.
Yeah, water is great.
So so when you're based in Niagara Falls, and what do you do? What are you doing at the moment?
Well, I retired when I was 49 years old. I was fortunate enough that I worked for a company out in Western Canada for about 15 years, and I was just getting ready to quit. And then one day they came up and says, "Hey, if we give you this, will you quit?" It was a buyout, golden handshake. And I looked at it and said, "Goodbye." And yeah, that was it. I bailed out, made some good investments, real estate, crypto, things like that. And I have only ever done what I wanted to do. And one of the things I wanted to do at that time, at 49, I was still pretty young at that time. So I went and took a course and got my group fitness instruction and everything. And then I got a manager and an agency to work with. And I went to almost every major, most beautiful resort in the world and taught there, and taught actually all over the place. I've had the privilege of actually going to every single continent in this world to either teach or to sing or preach or do something, and most major cities within them. So as you know, travel is certainly not an option at this time anymore. So I got it all out of the way before I got, sidelined.
What were you specifically teaching? Yeah, and then preaching. We'll go into that afterwards. Yeah, let's talk about let's talk about that aspect. What were you doing?
At a lot of the resorts, I was teaching, either group fitness or yoga or aqua fitness or any kind of even cardio or weightlifting, anything, right? Any fitness related things at the resorts. I've also taught esoteric knowledge because at that same time, I really invested a lot of that money into self-education. So I became adept at so many modalities. I became a Reiki master. I became proficient at Theta healing, quantum touch, energy healings of all kinds. I really was immersed, and then I became an international certified yoga instructor then. And so I taught a lot of these esoteric things. And after a while of that, I believe it was when I went to India, and then, well, Indonesia and all those places as well. And I thought idolatry was something that had been left behind in the dark ages, but going there, and when you see these people going to the statues and the demon statues and everything else, and laying the incense and the flowers and the food and worshiping these statues and praying to them, then it makes you realize. But when I was in India, every single yoga pose that you can possibly think of is dedicated to a demon god. And even a headstand, that's the one that freaked me out the most, because I always enjoyed doing headstands and handstands, but the headstand in particular, there is a way that the yogis do it, and it's like kind of elbows braced so that you don't have the top of the head on the floor too much, so you can do it on any hard surface. And they had that same statue, and people were in front of it doing the exact same pose while praying to this thing. And that, like, it really, wow, sent shockwaves through me. And so,
were you a religious man back then?
You know what? I did have that background and everything else, that I was into it. But I remember when I was thinking about starting this yoga, and I asked, like, who is this deity that you are chanting to and everything else? And the yoga instructor, who I did have a lot of respect for, said, "Oh, it's all God." And I just, okay, if it's all God, that's got to be good then. But yes, as you know, the Satanists refer to their deity as God as well.
Yes, I guess you're right. Yeah, I guess well, pretty much all religions will direct whatever to God, or it goes indirectly to God, whatever.
Let me just shut this down.
Yeah, sure. So yes, so you were going on about, so that was your aspect of the health and fitness aspect of you. And then you said you went into preaching. You said you preached around the world as well. So yes. How'd you get into that?
You know what? I always was gifted in the word. And then once I had my real awakening moment of realizing that I had been deceived by the yogic principles and everything else like that, I literally did repent of that and turn around and dropped it like a hot potato. And I was the highest paid yoga instructor in all of Southern Ontario, working at the #1 fitness facility in Canada. And yeah, I quit all of it and just decided to pursue the Most High with all my heart, and repented of all that. And next thing you know, all these doors started opening like crazy. So you draw near to him, he'll draw near unto you, and he'll open those doors for you. So I was really propelled into these things. And one thing that I've always had that's rather strange all my life is that a lot of people come up to me and just start telling me all kinds of things that I don't even want to hear. And so, I guess there's that open rapport which basically has propelled me into many things that I've done that just kind of fell in my lap.
So I think, I mean, I'm curious. I'm sure other people will be curious. What is it that you actually believe in? Like, what is it you preach? Or
Well, I've come a long ways, and this is a whole nother thing in itself. But
of course, yeah.
the entire
Yeah.
word, and it's quite a bit different than what most churches and most pastors and even most theologians will teach. What I teach is true messianite stuff that right from Genesis, and I'll just make this really fast. Chapter 1,
Sure.
verse 27 says that the Elohim created man and woman in their image. Verse 2, chapter 2, verse 7 says the Most High created Adam from the dust of the earth. Those were two separate creations. And from there, we have the wheat and the tares that Jesus talked about. And they grow up together until the end of the age, and then they'll be harvested. But the interesting thing is, even the tares, the bad ones, Cain was of that demon seed because he was the devil's son. He came from the devil. There was superfundicated twins, Cain and Abel. Cain was the bad one. He slew Abel. Abel was the good one that came from Adam. But basically, that was not a piece of apple that they took from a fruit. We still refer to this term as partaking of the forbidden fruit when someone has sex with someone else. That is what happened in the garden. And if you actually take a Greek and Hebrew concordance and look up the word, you will see that that word, to partake of that fruit, actually has a translation of to lie with a woman. So this, again, we have our seventh commandment, not to have sex outside of marriage. It all comes back down to what happened at the beginning of creation, when Adam and Eve had sex with reptile man and had an orgy and a threesome, and produced these superfundicated twins, Cain and Abel. Cain slew Abel. And then here's an interesting thing. You'll never get this out of theologian either. When Cain went east and met his wife, her wives, and where did they come from? They will always tell you, oh, Adam and Eve had lots more children. They just didn't mention them in the Bible. No, it was the tares, the ones that the Elohim created in chapter 1, verse 27, that were created, and they went out and multiplied. Then Adam was created, and Eve came from the side of Adam, and they were supposed to take over, but because of the way they were deceived, the whole plan went sideways. And this is where we're at now with all our trouble.
So is this something that you developed, or did you have like, did you have some kind, I mean, not developed, but is this something you learned yourself, or did you have a mentor? Like,
to tell you the truth, Eitan, when I was doing, I don't recommend anyone else do this.
Yeah.
But when I did my esoteric work, even Theta healing, okay, let me give you a brief background. What you would do in that is we have our 4 or 5 different brainwave lengths, right? We're talking in beta right now. But if you go into theta, which is a very low brain wavelength, you're almost in such a deep state of meditation, you're almost not there. So you go into this state, you leave your body, you have permission to enter the other person's body. And as you do that, you do a scan through their body, and I would see the things inside their body that were not right. And my technique was that I would take a make-believe laser gun full of white light energy and blast these black spots out and come out again and then come back into my body. And many people would say, oh, I could feel that you were inside of me. What were you doing? And says, well, I was just doing the healing work that your body needed, right? Now, okay, so I have this spiritual connection, and many times even, and back then, I was really connected to this, so that it was crazy. If anyone asked me a question, I had the answer. And they would even say, how do you know these things? I said, I don't know, I just know them. And obviously I repented of that and got away from all that stuff, but I still get so many downloads now. However, now I get them from source, not from another place.
Interesting. Okay, yeah. So yeah, as you said, that's a whole different kettle of fish, right?
It is. So I get a lot of spiritual downloads. Yeah. So when I ask the Most High for what does this mean, I get my answers. I mean, let me share a quick story with you. I had to do a wedding, and they asked me to sing and play. Most of the people in here were very wealthy, affluential people, doctors, lawyers, the whole thing, parents and relatives of the couple that just got married, right? But the couple that got married really liked me and wanted me to sing. And so I sang a couple of songs, and I was going to do one more. And just between that, between the second last song that I did and the last one I was going to do, I get this big download that I have to give an altar call, and I have to call out that someone in here has an incurable disease in their stomach. And I thought, oh man, this is not the place for this. They're going to start throwing food at me and everything else, and who knows what else. This is not where this kind of happens. It was at a big hotel and big ballroom and everything else, right? And I just, oh my gosh, it was just so overwhelming. I had to do it. So I says, okay, I got one more song for you, but before I do, and I gave out the altar call, and then I said, and there is someone here that for some reason you've been to the doctors, they say you have an incurable disease that's in your stomach and it's causing you so much pain that you're just on the verge of ending it all because of it. Come see me as soon as I'm done this. And so I gave my last song, sat down, and then this old guy came up to me and he says, oh my gosh, that's me. And I spoke to him, and what happened, get this, he went to Russia and he shared the gospel there. And while he was there, and again, I got this download, someone over there put a curse on him that was into witchcraft. And that's what it was. He literally went to the doctors. They knew that he had all these problems in his digestive system. I forget what all it was, but they said it was incurable and there was nothing they could do. I prayed for him there. 3 days later, I got a telephone call. And he told me he went back to the hospital and they took all the tests and there was nothing wrong with him anymore. So that's the power of a spiritual download and walking in his spirit.
You mentioned music.
Yes.
Is this something you've always done?
You know what? I have pictures so that I was so small that I literally had to hold on to a table and holding a little guitar. So it was something that I've always been doing. And
continue doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been fortunate enough that I did a gospel album about 20 years ago, and somehow out of the blue, it just won the highest award you could win in all of Canada for the best gospel album of the year. So that opened up a lot of doors again for me going around the world and preaching at that time as well.
Okay.
See, when you have that kind of accolades, they kind of knock on your door. So I was getting offers from all continents, all over.
Are you still doing, what about now? Are you still doing stuff now? Creating albums, music?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, there was just a contest recently, and you had 48 hours to do a song. And so I entered that, and it was probably the best song I have ever done. Yeah, I had to do the whole thing in 48 hours. And I think it's one of the best songs I've ever done. I'll actually record it, I'll do a quick video of it, and I'll share it on the site in the near future. But unfortunately, the judges were biased and didn't want to hear that kind of stuff, and they gave it to a death metal type song instead. But it's still, I'm very proud of that song, and that was just done a few weeks ago.
So I can see you had a very, very interesting journey. I know we've spoken before, and you've mentioned things like you've done professional wrestling and stuff like that, competitive bodybuilding, arm wrestling, and all that, that kind of stuff. So after all this time, how did you come across Aphro-D? Like what inspired you? Like why now?
Oh, you know what? I've always known, I teach, about medical conditions and all that. And I know my test levels were dropping. I mean, working out was one of my favorite things. And I just really was not interested in doing much at all anymore. And I knew that it was all attributed to that. And I heard Farhan speaking about Aphro-D one time on a pop-up video ad. And I kind of brushed it off, but again, almost like one of those things that just keeps gnawing at you and keeps coming back to you. And then it was quite a while. It was weeks later, I saw that same ad finally popped up again. And then because I had thought about it so many times, it just kept coming back to me. I says, all right, let's give this thing a shot. Because I have done many herbs of all kinds before, Hishu Wu, black ant powder, the Tongkat Ali, everything else like that. And I do like them. And I've taken, what do you call it? The test boosters from some of the pharmaceuticals companies that make the protein powders and all that kind of stuff. And a couple of them were really good. But I liked the idea of Aphro-D because it is so well balanced. Even some of these test boosters that I have tried, I've only done them a couple times, but you had to cycle them. You could only do them for a month or two, and then you had to take a month or two off.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So it's not like they had pure test in them or anything like that. But it's
just going back a little bit. You said you knew that your performance levels are going down. But was there a specific turning point, a day, an hour, like something did that like triggered?
No, it's gradual. Oh, but actually, now that you mention it, oh my gosh, I put it together. The heels of my hands, and they're actually called the adductor pollicis muscles. They've been bothering me for years, and I've taken and done almost everything you possibly imagine, the dirty stretches and every kind of manipulative technique that you could think of and all that stuff. And I should mention, I've been on Aphro-D for almost 1 full month now. And for the last week or so, I've been amazed that these have not been bothering me now. And it's been like 5 years. And you know what? I have to attribute it to the Aphro-D, and I didn't put it together until you and I are just talking now.
It's the anti-inflammatory properties inside. Yeah,
man,
the herbs.
Beautiful. And I mean, I've been taking the sulfur, pure sulfur as well for months, and it helps, but still didn't get rid of it. I thought by the first bag, this would all be healed. No, bought a second bag, still working on it. And no, it's the Aphro-D. That's the only thing that finally makes sense.
I always like to make a disclaimer, like this is totally unedited. So like I have spoken to David before, but we've not planned this or anything. So everything he says, it's on him. So yeah, I always tell people like, so, during all my interviews are the same. So like whatever anyone says is what they say. And I don't edit it. This is raw footage, and whatever comes out your mouth is the truth. So yeah, it's interesting. So you've been on it a month. What else? Any other changes? Anything else that's been going on?
Oh, you know what? I can honestly say that my goals have become more prioritized, whereas before it was like whatever, I might get around to doing that, this and that, and it just wasn't a big deal anymore. Now I do feel motivated. I feel like
I can see the energy. I can see the energy.
Now I just have that drive again. So that's a beautiful feeling. The Aphro-D really did something up here to turn them gears in a much better capacity.
What are your goals now?
You know what? Definitely want to record a couple of songs that I've written within the last month. I definitely want to actually, I started a book. I'll share it here right now. It's going to be the Alpha Aphro-D Man, and you guys are going to be blown away by some of the secrets I'm going to be sharing in there. So I just spoke to Farhan a little bit about this, and looking forward to speaking to him more about seeing how we're going to get out there to you guys. So that's one that's really got me excited. And the workouts that I've been doing, again, very low volume, high intensity. In other words, my workout's usually done within 10 minutes. But in that 10 minutes, I'm finished. I'm really finished. And you know what? Those are the best workouts you can possibly have. And I recommend any guy that wants to try that, go full out for 10 minutes and see what you got left. You're not even going to make it till 10 minutes. So those are powerful workouts.
Just the final word. What would be your message to other men who've not accomplished probably anywhere near as much as you've accomplished in terms of a spiritual, physical, intellectual? Because there's a lot of guys in the group, outside the group, confused, don't know what's going on, especially in today's world, society has lots of information, lots of confusion. And especially men, I guess, around your age. We haven't said how old you are. Did you say you're 62? How old are you at the moment? You said, yeah. So especially for the older guys of all these health conditions, like what would your message be to them? Guys,
again, don't overtrain, but you've got to do something. You know, I will share with you guys my anti-aging regimen, which will take, you know, between usually about 7 minutes and you're done this thing. But literally, I mean, okay, I taught this all over the world as well, the anti-aging techniques that I'll be sharing with you guys in the near future as well. But one of the things I really want to stress, okay, I was young and foolish, and I had a very incredible life that for some reason, women would come to me all the time. One day, okay, I had 5 women ask me out on a date, okay, in one day. It was just ridiculous how many women were throwing themselves at me. But all I can say is, gentlemen, we sometimes think that an old guy with a young girl is a sign of success. It's not. That's a sign of foolishness, okay? Chasing skirt is not the answer, and women are not the answer either. Your highest goal in life is if you can find that one that actually complements your life and builds you up and boosts you up and is always helping you to be the helpmate that that one person was created to be in your life, you have accomplished a huge goal in your life. And I'm fortunate. I have a wife that I've been with for 15 years, and I can say that I've never even kissed another woman or person, anything. She is the only one that I would ever even consider being with in any way, shape, or form. And you know what? When I was younger, I would think that would be a fool talking like that. But from experience, I can tell you that is true success in life. So do something, get your goals right, find your truth. Truth is always in here. Pontius Pilate looked at Jesus and he says, "What is truth?" And when he looked at him, he realized he was looking at truth. And he turned around and went back outside and says, "I find no fault with this man." But they wanted him killed. Anyways, I don't want to get preaching here too much, but truth is all within us. And if you really want to find truth, there's one truth. That's Jesus. So that'll take you on your path. But I know we have a journey here, and everything that we do is, you know, to decide what we will get to be for all of eternity afterwards. So blessings to everyone on that journey.
Just to say, like, I'm very curious to see how you're going to be in 6 months, because that's the real, for those who are watching, like the real success with Aphro-D. Like you got the first month, the first 3 months, and then the 6 months. That's the real big one. After 6 months, that's the real measure. So very curious to see how like your mental clarity, your spiritual, physical is going to be after that. Very curious to see how it's going to be, because if you speak to some other guys in the group, you'll see like everything is like going for them, like literally everything is going forward. So yeah, I'm quite excited to see like your journey of his next few months.
Oh, I'm really excited too.
Yeah. So all right, great. Well, thank you very much for your time. And yeah, like I said, we're definitely going to touch base, keep in touch. And you want to do a quick song before we go?
You know what? I'll just give you a little taste of this last song I was telling you about, though. It happened at sunset on a warm July that I held my breath and closed my eyes. But some of his spirit when he realized all my ways were in a great haze.
Davey,
just a little taster.
Thanks a lot. Take care.
Hey, blessings to everyone. Bye, Eitan.
Bye-bye.